The US has less than 5% of the global population and yet 25% of the global prison population. How could that be? Apparently, it came from Richard Nixon's policy of being tough on crime and Ronald Reagan. Until the 60s, the population in the US in prisons was relatively stable, but the war on drugs would change that reality. In 1971, President Richard Nixon declared the use of drugs as an enemy number one of the nation. And it wasn't only a matter of public safety and of public health, it was a matter of punishing people very harshly. Judges lost the power to decide sentences based on the context. If you were caught with a certain amount of crime, the law demanded that you served 10 or 20 years of prison without chance for parole. There was a huge disparity between, of course, everybody knows about that, crack cocaine, and it was meant to punish African Americans, and it had 100 times higher penalties than using the rich person drug, which was, of course, cocaine. There was the 3 strikes, you out. 3 strikes, you're out. If you did 3 severe crimes, you received automatic perpetual prison. You would stay in prison. You received an automatic life sentence. You would never leave the prison. This was done by Bill Clinton. And I mean, that's the reason for why the US is the largest population in the world in their prisons, bigger than China and bigger than any other country in the world. It is not that the punishment is the most severe in many places, because of course China supposedly has greater punishment, but there's more crime, perhaps there's more inequality, there's a greater tendency due to culture and to live action movies and different things to engage in behavior that does not obey the rules. And on the other side, there's somebody very willing to punish that behavior that does not follow the rules. So there must be a proclivity for crime in many cases, the cultural situation, inequality situation, poverty situation, and then the willingness and the hammer to punish. Because the US does not have the biggest hammer to punish. That would come from China. Nor does it have the biggest absolute population, which would also come to China. So how does it have more prisoners than China does? Even though China has supposedly 1.4 billion, in the US has a population that's 4 times smaller than that, over 4 times smaller than that. So how could it have a larger prison population in China? And it is not because the punishments are more severe, because we've established that while China has death penalties for several offenses, they're much more willing to use it as a percentage basis. And yet the homicide rate in China is negligible. It's very, very small. It's like less than 1. It's less than 1. It's less than it is in any European country by now. Most European countries, even Denmark and these other, have like 2 or 1. China has 0.8 or 0.5 or something. It's close to Japan. And the punishments are very severe. And yet the prisoners they have are so much less than the prisoners the US has, with a population that's 4 times bigger. How could the US population 4 times smaller have so many more prisoners than China has? That is a really good question that one ponders about, and that I hope we get an answer to at some point. But anyways, it's a fascinating topic to think about. Thanks for watching, and I'll be sure to see you next time. Take it easy, peace. Have a blessed day. Subscribe, leave a like, and support the channel. Please, it will help us grow. Thanks.